This is it, our cloud platform tier list of 2025. We go into detail on why we ranked what platform where. This original video took us about an hour and 30 minutes, which we'll make available for our members. Let us know if you think our list is what you think it should be in the comments below. Now let's get started. I'm going to start with Amazon Luna. What do you guys think? Games that belong to the platform are, that they're exclusive to that subscription. But they do have, the bring your own games aspect to it. Now, they have Ubisoft, they have GOG. My overall, since they only have 1080p 60 FPS, even though it plays very well, I'm going to give it a B. To give it more of an A or even an S tier, I'm going to need to see that 4K, and their bring your own games library needs to be brought up a bit.
Yeah. Now, I'll put it at B too. I think kind of some of the pros and cons I kind of added with some of these is that the fact that they have like that preloaded library. There's a lot of games you can immediately play. So with some of the other tiers we're going to talk about, it's not like that. Another thing I said too, if you're a Prime member, there's benefits with that, which is cool.
Yeah.
Like if you're already in like the Amazon kind of ecosystem, this is kind of like a tag team kind of thing. So it's not like you're immediately going into something else.
It's Amazon Prime. That has nothing to do with video games at all. So that's kind of an added bonus of having Amazon Prime, which is really cool because you can have access to Fortnite on any device for free.
Right.
Unlimited.
Right. I agree. I have you at B. Their effective game library is not on the level of the heavy hitters. No. I wouldn't. They're not an S. They're not even really an A with effective game library.
Yeah.
That is one thing I said. I said the game library isn't that impressive, even though it is there.
Yep.
True. But then you also want to do some other things. Stability and reach. Great global reach. Their network is fantastic.
Yep.
All over the place. Stable. You're not going to get crazy service outages. You're not going to get crazy queues.
AWS.
Yep. It's backed by power.
The number one cloud infrastructure in the world.
Yep.
Then this is a big one for me. Convenience, ease of use. Very easy to just log in, get right going. You don't have to tweak settings. You don't have to set up a weird link between computers. You don't have to install the games. It just goes. High grades on stability, reach, convenience, and ease of use. All fantastic. It's just that game library is lacking. And again, performance. Latency and stream performance is there, but you're missing features like 4K.
Yep.
So.
Yeah.
B is where I put them, but they're a solid B. They're not a bad B.
Yeah, they're not a bad B. It's not like a low B or even thinking about into C. It's a solid B. To go into our old friend maximum settings. Where do you guys put them?
I got it. First, I got to apologize that I have not gotten back into maximum settings. That's on me. With maximum settings, I am also going to put them as B, but not as high as Luna.
Yes.
And they're edging C for me. So. And honestly, they could be B or C for me. So you guys might even swing them down to C.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it. I mean, performance-wise, upgrades from when we did them last time. It's been good, and then a lot of people say it's very good. Hardware,
hardware is fantastic.
Hardware is great. So, I almost want to put it B as well, but with it being Linux based.
Yeah.
We can't get the games that we want, even with Proton,
Lutris. I mean, I had to learn all this stuff in order to review it the last time. Yeah. And to be fair, it does work. And with the power they have, it works pretty well. Sometimes it doesn't translate as well. For example, one of my favorite games, Total War Warhammer 3. Total War, with the exact same hardware, I literally used the same computer. I had a Linux system and I had a Windows system. And the Linux version of the game with all the same hardware ran about 20% worse. But where they're falling off is global reach. They only have...
that's the thing too. I want to put only one data center.
One data center. Location. And it's in our backyard, which is great for us.
Great, but...
but it's not good for everyone. It's lacking that global reach. Service stability has been great. I've never had issues running their service. I've never had queues. I've never had slowdown because of server issues. Linux, once you learn it, is very robust, but the problem is convenience and ease of use. You have to install the games. You have to learn how to use Lutris. Proton does make it easy, but there's that extra wall. How many clicks between opening your game will you be playing?
If you're into this kind of stuff and setting up, you're gonna love maximum settings. But if you're just looking for a cloud platform to just, hey, I want to push the button and play the game, it's not for you.
Very niche.
All right, TensorDO. I know it's been a while since we've used TensorDO, and since they've moved to the more global marketplace of cloud PCs and cloud hardware, my vote for TensorDO has changed. This is why you don't see a lot of content on the platform with TensorDO. Any machine I run on TensorDO, you might not get as a general user. So if I say, oh, there's a 4090 available on TensorDO, and you go to use that, and that 4090 is not there anymore because it has very limited hardware around the world, you're going to be disappointed. So when we introduced TensorDO,
issues there,
they had their own hardware that they had in their own data centers. That's gone now. I'm actually going to put this at a C myself.
I do too.
Because I would have put it a higher, either B or even A, when we started with it. But now it's a C because you have no idea what you're going to be getting, and it's there's a setup process now that it was even worse than before.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So it's kind of it should be alongside maximum settings in that there is a process you have to do just to get going, and that is an issue. Like for me, ease of use, you're not getting to S tier unless I can click 2 buttons and be in a game. Period.
Now for a more heavy hitter, PlayStation Plus streaming.
Okay. They're B for me.
They're B for you.
They're B, yeah, because there's a couple of reasons why. They have a lot of the benefits, just like Amazon Luna, preloaded library, a lot of great games. You know, you got the PlayStation exclusives, which is huge. Well, a lot of people say, okay, you put that in A, but for me, even when using it, there's no synergy between using a PC app and being on PS4 and PS5. Is 3 completely different experiences. Yeah, you can do the same things, but it's really forcing you to be a PS5 user in order to truly enjoy it. That's really where it's the best.
And well, here's my one of the things about PS Plus streaming is that they actually have different tiers of cloud depending on the platform. Because if you stream on PS5, you get 4K, 60 FPS.
Mm-hmm.
On the PC, you don't even get the same feel. GTA was a completely different version on PS5 versus on PC, which is wild.
Also, which is still crazy, real quick, you still can't use a PS5 controller.
That's weird. So, okay, so going on what you said, how is this a B then?
Well, so it's a B because there's a lot of good things going for it. I mean, there really is. Like, so they have, like I said, they have a ton of great games. That's really what it is. You really stack it up against some of the other ones we're talking about. I personally think their list of games compared to Amazon is better.
Compared to Amazon for sure. And they have a lot of exclusives because of their backlog library.
Huge
backlog. Like, unless you're an emulator, you're not getting these games.
No.
That's
you can play on a PS5 right now if you wanted to. If you can play Sly Cooper. You can play all the God of Wars. You can play most of the Batmans, if I'm not mistaken. You could there's a lot of stuff there that you can't get on other platforms now.
Now here's my thing. Play it on mobile.
Doesn't exist.
Doesn't exist.
No app either. Are we gonna grade it because it doesn't have things, or does it do what it does offer really well? And if you use it for what it's offering, it's great. If you have a PlayStation 5, it's great. Also, another thing too, they always add new games every month, and they're good games. You know, they're not just like, they're not all, the best out there. It's not like you're getting, every new title that's coming out every month on there. I'll put it at a B tier. I definitely put it at a B.
Oh, you're gonna go B. Mine was D. So
D.
Yeah.
Whether I vote B or C, I think your D is going to push it down into C.
Yeah.
C. If it's between all of the average of it, put that C.
Yeah. I'm moving on to high score. Now, for what we've seen with high score, everything looks really good. 1080p, 60 FPS, and from the gameplay that was just posted, it's fluid. From the gameplay Ian has shown me personally, it looks awesome. There's different games. From what I have seen only, for me, it's almost A tier. From what I have seen only.
I agree with you.
Yeah. There were no hiccups like at all. But of course, too, they're right next to, they're pretty close to their data center.
Yes.
Which is in California, which is in San Francisco. So the test is going to be out of state. I think that's going to be the real test. How we're going to have about 80 milliseconds of latency from Ohio to San Francisco. That's going to be the real test. They're going to start with San Francisco, and they're going to move out once they actually get a full release, which we have no idea what date that's going to be.
So with high score, I agree with you, weirdly enough. But the way I look at them is we have too many variables that we don't know.
Yes.
Based on what I have seen, they could be in S tier someday. They could come out right out the gate and be in the S tier if everything goes smooth. But because we don't know what global reach is going to be, we don't know what stability is going to be, we don't know what the queue times are going to be, we don't know a lot. I can't put them higher than A, but based on what I've seen that looked amazing, working better than things that are on the market right now, I can't put them lower than B.
Yeah.
So it's A or B for me, and screw it, put them at A. I'll build that hype train right now. Go for it.
Because I think they could launch right now. From what I've seen,
if they launched right now, they would be B minimum.
Yes, and it'd be B minimum. I think what they have now is almost beating Boosteroid, at least in the stream worthy.
Ooh.
I know.
That's a spicy phrase right there, my man.
It is. But they've never been hit hard like Boosteroid has. So that's a real test. So we have to really see what's in store for them down the line. I want to talk about an old favorite of ours, Blacknut.
My boys.
You said my boys. I'm going to take that out.
My boys are crazy.
Where do you put Blacknut?
We want to start with the good or the bad?
Let's start with the good.
When it works really very well.
Yeah.
Ease of use is there.
Yes,
it's not
very much so.
The Blacknut does what it's designed to do. It's absolutely there for the casual that doesn't really care what they're going to play. They just want to have a service that has a bunch of variety and just connect and play instantly.
Yeah.
All that stuff works great.
Yeah, their app and their UI is phenomenal. And it's been phenomenal for years.
Yep. Very good. I like the way they do things, but the service wasn't built for me, which is the problem I have.
Yeah. With their addition of Ubisoft, they might be going getting even more. But in terms of those games, AAA games, they're behind.
So how I looked at them, and I know when Blacknut and we talked about years ago when we first did the interview with them, it was really an eye-opener to really where their purpose, which is wide. They want to be able to serve as many people as possible. And where I think it's beyond the US, where the infrastructure where we can get 4K and stuff like that, they're really for people who don't have access to that, and they all are on an even playing field. So that's really where they shine at.
And here's the thing, with the new Ubisoft games, even some of those aren't performing as well as they should be.
Yeah.
So it's not very consistent with a lot of the games, especially with the new games coming out. They could still use a lot more power.
I personally can't put them any higher than a high C.
Okay.
That's the highest I can put them.
I agree. Low B, high C, maximum
I would
settings.
put it below. I would put it below PlayStation.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm
okay.
saying. I'm putting.
I can't in good conscience rate Blacknut higher than PlayStation.
Oh
No,
wow, okay, all right.
Wait, how do you feel? I mean, that's me personally, but that's
Yeah,
just
I
how
was
I.
doing high C. I was gonna do like almost above PlayStation.
You think so?
Big mobile is a big thing. I know
That's
it's a
true.
big thing. So the fact that PlayStation can't do mobile is like a huge thing. Everybody else can basically do mobile. I'm happy with this placing. So I'm fine with that. Loud play.
Oh, come on.
garbage, man.
Yeah, all right. I had terrible stability. They have bad global reach. They had trouble running some of the stuff I was trying to play. They did things where my save games went to somewhere. Get that out of my face.
I know.
Yeah, no.
Dude, when I had to have a separate subscription for my mobile,
Yeah, there's your price for performance. Also low.
I was so done.
I'll tell you what though, they have a A tier logo. I like that logo.
They do have a
Oh, yeah, the logo's
very
sweet.
well-designed logo, and we haven't covered them in years. So some of this might have been changed.
All right, I'm gonna stop cooking them. I'm still leaving them in F, but you're right. I'm not as educated on them as I used to be.
Let's go to JoyArc.
Oh, JoyArc.
I mean, I can't speak on JoyArc as much as you guys can.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm on the I am like this is a coin toss for me, to be honest with you, because the more I think about it, see JoyArc, according to with their games and the actual performance of their machines, it's decent. They've got a lot of good games. Their machines perform well. Their stream sucks. But the fact that they have the games there almost basically illegally is not cool. So it's like, oh, if you don't know any of these things, it's a B tier. But once you find this out, it's like, oh, did I just commit a crime?
Yeah.
And I put them at D.
Now you're at risk with that stuff.
Yeah, you're at risk. So is that a C?
I
Or
got
do I put it at a D?
I got him at D personally.
All right. I mean,
I have them low too, bro. Remember how much trouble did I have? Service stability and global reach are a big deal. They do not reach here very well, which is, again, something that's going to mirror another service I like a lot better that does reach here. But stability has tiers of failure. If there's not a queue and you get dropped out of your game in the middle, that's way worse to me.
Also, I remember, because it's been a minute, but I remember their UI wasn't that attractive either.
no, it's not. The UI is supposed to be for mobile.
Yeah.
Remember they got the functionality out for desktop when I reported that you could play on desktop.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
They got rid of that. So that leads me into NetBoom, which is the sister company.
Yeah, just slap that
I'm
in
going
there.
to dump it here. It's actually
Stack 'em up.
NetBoom was worse than JoyArc.
Yeah.
Even though they were kind of running the same machines and the same technology and everything, NetBoom was worse. I don't even know why. It just whatever.
And it might be just anecdotal. It literally might have been the same company with the new coat of paint. It felt like it,
Yeah,
but the coat of paint was falling off while you were using it. So
it seemed like it was just the front for something. You see those stores. It's like there's no way these guys are selling.
Yeah.
They're selling
What they call it?
for something else.
Something like they're just in there to get in quick and then it's over.
One play. I know it's not really super fair to judge them the way I'm going to judge them because I'm in America and they're an Indian-based company. We don't get the 100% experience of what Indian players get because we jump on the servers when it's not busy, and their stream is phenomenal. The performance is phenomenal. The games they have are phenomenal. It's just that they're in India. I don't have anything wrong. I don't have really anything bad to say about OnePlay. It's just that they're in India.
it's just far away.
It's just far away. Their performance on many games, it's almost close. It's very close to GeForce Now.
Yep.
A lot of the times, it's beating out Boosteroid. Okay,
They are, to me, they are the Indian Boosteroid. It's just what they are, and that's high praise.
Yeah, and that's high praise.
Mhm.
So I'm going to give it an A, but that's an asterisk A because we're not
can't
in
really,
You're
we
not-
can't
yeah,
really
no.
hit it. And I'm sure we'll get some Indians to comment on this in chat for us.
I'm sure.
They usually help us out.
I'm sure. Sim.io,
It's nice.
which is basically an
It's new.
AWS service. They can provide you a 4090, the NVIDIA L40S machine, top tier,
Mhm.
for $60 a month.
It's pricey, but it's a 4090.
But it is a 4090,
As a
and
fully
it is a monthly subscription too.
Mhm.
So the performance is there.
Mhm.
You know, it is basically a GeForce Now Ultimate tier based machine for $60 a month.
Mhm.
But you do have limited hours because they limit you. It's a very expensive machine. So they do have other tiers, but that's the highlight. Delta Force, they can run Delta Force. I don't know why AWS can run Delta Force, but it can. You'll notice that the stream wasn't that good. I had problems with the stream. It doesn't flow correctly or as fluidly as, let's say, if you're running it on Moonlight. It doesn't go 4K.
That was all I was gonna say. It's only up to 2K.
So it's only up to 1440p. I'm going to give it a B. And I do have to do more with it. I just haven't had the time. I'm going to give it a B for right now because it is a Windows-based machine and you can install a lot more that you can with maximum settings, and you don't really have to set up anything.
Nope.
You just have to start your machine, open it through the browser, and you're good to go.
Yeah, the big thing though for me, in which I wrote, was really only the main con, is that you have a 4090, but you can't use 4K.
Yeah,
So it's kind of like,
not yet. They said that's coming in a couple of months, so we'll see how it is. But yeah, I think the streamer needs to be worked on as well. So in that aspect, let's talk about AirGPU. Now you can spin up a lot of different machines with AirGPU.
Yeah.
Cloud PC running. They're running the same machines as Stim.io. They have a lot of different locations because they're using primarily AWS around the world.
mhm.
Again, AWS is the biggest cloud infrastructure in the world, and now they offer 4090 caliber machines. What are you guys ranking it?
It really, at its best, is S tier, but it's going to cost.
Yes.
And that's what, and there's a
I
couple
can't put it
other
S tier for that reason.
Yeah,
and that's why I can't.
same.
That's what I say.
Same.
That's why I say I can't put it. Also, too, if you don't know what you're doing, it's not very user friendly.
Yeah, and I really wish they would make a browser-based
Yeah. that'd be
way to get on instead of downloading Moonlight.
great.
I mean, we all love Moonlight. It runs really well, but the fact that you have to install something else for the service
It's like Daisy.
downgrades it a bit.
Yeah.
If they had that web-based streamer, this would work out a lot better. But the cost thing, especially for the 4090, they're an hourly based service.
Yeah.
So if you're paying hourly for the 4090 for 4K, the top-notch 4K setup is over $5 an hour, which is insane. Like, no one's going to do that.
I would put them above maximum settings. I'd put them above Stim.io,
Okay, yeah. All right.
but I would not. Them or Luna, that's a tough one for me. I think they can sit right next to each other, and I ain't got a problem with that.
Yeah, okay. Let's talk about Xbox Cloud. Now, they've come a long way over the past, several years from being. This is a way for people to test out games on Game Pass on console, and they've moved it to other platforms like through the browser and on other devices like Chromebooks and whatnot. They've added play your own games, which is great, but it's not everything that you might need or everything that you have in your Xbox catalog.
Mhm.
And it's only they're running specialized Xbox server blades, which mimic a Series S. So performance, bit rates, they're all minimal. We're going to see a lot of improvements on Xbox Cloud. This is going to be a massive step forward for the cloud. I'm guessing 2027, as people have stated. So what's your guys' thoughts on it?
So they need to come a little further. before their Xbox Play Anywhere initiative really takes off, which is, for me, the countdown is the next generation of consoles. That is the countdown.
Yeah.
They are better at hitting platforms than Sony.
Yes.
Their game catalog, I wouldn't call it as deep though. I get a little annoyed about how they lie about certain things with their specs. I mean, you got a whole video about how their 60 FPS isn't really 60 FPS.
Yeah, that will be determined depending on game. So, their stats say 60, but the game might be running 30, like with Space Marine 2. That's obviously 30.
Yeah.
Obviously.
So it's they may not even be lying if the stream's going that fast, but the game isn't. But it's very misleading.
And that's what we said. Yeah, the stream's going that fast, but the game is not.
Right. I will say I do prefer it over PlayStation Plus, but I can't put it any higher than B.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Really?
Yeah, I agree.
Where would you put it?
So I actually put it at A.
You do?
Oh, okay.
I say because when you look at it, they can do any device.
Mm-hmm.
They're consistent
device.
They are consistent. They have consistency.
Mobile. They have, there's
their price is good too.
Their price is great. Their game library has, for the most part, all the most popular games. When you really think about it.
Yeah, we're about to get GTA 5 again. So
yeah, I would say, some of the cons for me were like the padding when it comes to how many games they have, because of all the versions of games that are on there, which is another issue. But overall, I mean, if I've never heard of cloud gaming before, and I want a service where I can get it right in and play with every single one of my friends, because they have cross compatibility with almost everybody. So it's like I can't see putting them any lower than A, because they really have everything except for some of these like more premium specs we would like, which again is a big question as far as what coming and if they're coming soon.
You know what? I think you convinced me. They got same ease of use.
Yeah.
Sometimes the power isn't there, but the library, even though it's less, it's not bad. It's better than Luna's.
Yeah.
So can I really put them under Luna? Like they're either at the top of B or I could see them in A.
I'm putting at the top of B too. I'm putting ahead of Luna.
Yeah, I would definitely put top of B. Mainly because, like I said, I would put it in A. Also, too, one thing I think about, like I know we've been talking about queues a lot. With as many millions of players they have, the queues aren't that bad.
Right.
They're pretty. You're pretty kind of like right in any time of day. Their base, honestly, might be the best on here.
They do have more platforms.
Player base? Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Shadow here.
Oh.
Yeah, let's talk about Shadow. Where is Shadow? Shadow has been...
Do you want me to score them right now, or do you want me to score them 4 years ago?
4 years ago, they'd be almost S tier.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. A to S. They had the best client. They were the best of the PC rentals by far. Ease of use, performance, everything was there. Since we first met them, their prices have gone up. Their hardware has not kept up. Their performance, they still have good global reach. They have good service stability, but they just aren't keeping up with what games require.
The power is lacking. On top of that, we have game issues not running on VMs. Shadow has always been the king on playing games that were not on pick up and play platforms like Boosteroid and GeForce Now.
Yep.
If the game was not available on those, we knew we could always play on Shadow. That was how it always was for years, and now we cannot do that.
Shadow has been getting hit hard with this. In addition to that, the lack of hardware increases while the price has remained the same and everything else. Shadow is a case of a lot of really high rated points and a lot of really low rated points. I can't.
We haven't even talked about the hack.
Well, I have it at C.
You have it at C. Mm-hmm. All right. Where?
Below PlayStation.
Yeah,
really?
I have it right above. Right
after all, wow!
Well,
Wow.
You don't like
you guys
the-
are.
Yo,
I
the
know-
might- the
I
mighty
have
have
to
fallen,
say that,
man.
though. And let's talk about Boosteroid then. Boosteroid has come up, and they've come up fast and hard.
Mhm.
Sure.
Okay. They've got the games. They're going to have the hardware. They might have the hardware now. I know that performance in the US differs from the performance in Europe, which is a big thing. I get comments from people almost daily on how the European, especially the UK performance is terrible.
And
Problems with capacity here. We tried to do the new Warzone, and wow, that was terrible.
Yeah.
So they
So,
still have big game day performance problems.
so I'm gonna be a little unfair with this, but I rate them very high. 2 different data centers to pick from that are great. My latency is low. I never really have a queue. I can play my favorite games. For me, that's the biggest draw for me is ease of use and game library. I can play Elden Ring on Boosteroid. I can play it perfectly. I can play it well. I can play it in 4K.
Yeah.
It can keep up with the most baller PC I can build right now. For me personally, I would put it S for me. But can I rate it S for the world?
Right.
That's hard to say.
It is hard to say.
I would rate them S for me. I would rate them A for the world.
Yeah. What do you think, Jose?
I'm actually on the same wave. I mean, if there was an SA tier like in between there,
Yeah.
I would put it there. I think it truly is an S tier platform. The install section is great, but controversial at the same time.
Now, me personally, it's going to be an A, but I agree with everything you guys say. Yeah. So I will put it up here on S tier. Now, where's it going? Where is GeForce Now going then?
For me, it's still S tier for me.
It's out of the gate.
For real, I'm serious because it's like you look at it, we compare everything to them.
I know. You're
talk
right.
about
Because they,
Talk about the biggest and the best. You compare it to GeForce
for the past
Now.
several years, they were the biggest and the best. But
Yeah.
there's now some things that GeForce Now has that are bringing it down. The
true.
lack of games, the 100-hour limit,
Mhm.
the performance issues with the free tier now. Okay.
True.
Some games are not being able to be run on the free tier. So if you're running the free tier, there are some games, a lot of new games.
Monster Hunter.
Yeah, Monster Hunter is one of them. There's a lot of new games on Game Pass that are not going to be able to be played on the free tier. It's just what it is. And the fact that we have not received any news on the new hardware
Mhm.
to fix any of that.
True.
Again, I rate Boosteroid higher than I rate GeForce Now for me
Mhm.
personally. But GeForce Now has better global reach, fantastic stability. There are no queues really unless you're in the free tier. And then you got to sit there and watch 10 minutes of commercials for GeForce Now anyway before you can get into the thing.
You said it for GeForce Now.
I was irritated because my free tier is frustration. If you want to put GeForce Now free tier on this list, the only thing it's got going for it is that it's free.
Yeah.
It is annoying.
Yeah. It's a mess right now
Yeah.
because the free tier used to be what you would get for a priority what it was back
It's a
then.
beautiful little
Now.
gateway drug it used to be, but now it's annoying and it's a deterrent to me personally. I hate when you say cover the free tier in this video. I'm like, come on, I don't want to cover the free tier.
Yeah, I know.
But
I gotta
why.
sit through it.
Because for a lot of games that we cover, especially the free to play games that come to the platform, I have to cover those games in the middle of the night to avoid the 200-300 queue.
Mhm.
It's just what it is.
So I also want to be fair to GeForce Now with their game library. We dog them in comparison to Boosteroid.
Yep.
But compared to everyone else, they're good, man.
Yeah, they have over 2,000 games and growing every week.
And they have a fan look, if all I had was GeForce Now, I would not be sitting here like going, man, I got no games to play. There are games to play on GeForce Now.
Yeah.
I can't dog that.
Libraries.
Their stability is great. Their price for performance is better than almost everybody except for Boosteroid itself. You know, how many clicks before, how much time does it take to get into a game? Not much.
Yeah,
they're up there, man. Boosteroid and GeForce Now, S1 and S2, like they are the top of the game. That is who you're fighting for.
And I do have to give GeForce Now better latency than Boosteroid.
Oh yeah.
So where do you put it?
Personally, it's still number one for me.
Okay, I was thinking the same.
Yeah.
I think I'm the outlier that would rate Boosteroid higher, but that is a lot of my personal preference.
My review this year for GeForce Now will not be as stellar as it was, let's say, 2 years ago.
This is the first year where they didn't have improvements across the board, but they were always getting better, and this year,
yeah,
I think, and I'll say, I think it goes back to even where we were watching the CES.
Disappointment.
I think even one comment we kind of made and talked about, I think just because NVIDIA right now is not really focused
on gaming,
I think that's where a lot of that comes from.
So yeah, it's going to be an interesting year for the rest of the year of GeForce Now.
Oh yeah.
Hopefully we get some more information on upgrades if they do have any coming. That might all depend on the status of Blackwell.
Yes.
So
Blackwell.
Hopefully we'll get better information or more information as the year goes on. But here's one out of left field, guys. Where would you put Stadia? We'll save the Stadia ranking for the members. I'll have the link to the full video above. Let us know about this year's list in the comments below. And if you liked our assessment, give us a like. Also, make sure to join as a member of the channel or join our Patreon and our Discord in the links below. And above all else, make sure to subscribe to keep it locked right here at the only place we can do battle in gaming heaven, Cloud Gaming Battle.